Hey guys, what is up? Steven here to do another edition of the film breakdown. I was finally able to get my hands on some all 22. Really hope that the NFL Game Pass is able to figure its shit out. Really, I mean, this is so stupid. But I was able to get my hands on some all 22, which we'll be going over this way. There we go. There's the screen. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but um, some general thoughts about the offensive line versus the Washington football team. Obviously, we kind of talked about it on Sunday. I thought they played fantastic. I thought that this was one of the best games of offensive line play that I can remember in terms of watching the Chargers play. And we're going to go over some of really kind of what they were doing to help alleviate some pressure off of the offensive line's shoulders, and it really was amazing to watch. Like last year and the year before that, we how many times did we all scream at the offensive line or at the TV and the coaching staff to really kind of give the offensive line help? Because when you have a guy like Sam Tevi or Trent Scott or all these guys, et cetera, you want to give them help. And of course, ideally, every team in the league wants to have five all pros across the board, and then you can do whatever you want, but it doesn't really work like that. So I was really, really impressed with the plan and the preparation that the Chargers coaching staff laid out. I think this was a big stamp of approval for Frank Smith. I know some people were kind of concerned about, hey, he's been coaching tight ends for a long time. His roots are in the offensive line, but it's been a while. So I thought this was a great game plan for him. I thought it was great execution by the players themselves. Of course, we'll get into the players and really kind of from a general sense. I thought Rashaan Slater was truly, truly excellent in this game. Showed some really high level stuff in terms of mixing up his pass sets, winning at the line of scrimmage, flying off the ball. Really, he was everything that we were hoping for and more. And he did it against arguably the best defensive line in the league. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers definitely have an argument there as well. But he was awesome on both sides. Matt Filer kind of struggled a little bit in pass protection, as did Corey Linsley, particularly against Jonathan Allen, who really kind of worked both of them on a couple of occasions. But both made really strong plays in the running attack, and we'll get into that in a little bit too. And then Ode Abushi, I thought was excellent. I thought that he was kind of the weak link of the group heading into the week. That's something that I talked about in our episode on Sunday, but he really showed up. He had a fantastic day, both as a run blocker, which we'll see, and also as a pass blocker. Brian Bulaga, before he got hurt, he's Brian Bulaga. Like, he's very, very solid. If you listen to Brandon Thorne, excuse me. He has him as a top 5 or 6 right tackle. It's a little bit rich for my taste, but I think he is in that 10 to 12 range, and that's okay, right? And then Storm Norton, salute, sir. I was a big doubter of that kind of the depth behind Brian Bulaga, but Storm Norton played really, really well. He did. And, similar to Rashaan Slater, Storm mixed his sets up too a little bit, and we'll get into that. Again, of course, the game plan really helped out, but the players still have to execute, and they were able to do that. So we'll get into really kind of the film and how it starts, but I did want to just kind of give some general takes there. If Ode Abuji plays like this every single week, the Chargers are going to be fine, and they're going to be better than fine once Corey Linsley and Matt Filer figure their shit out, because I do expect them to come back and bounce back from this game. This was probably, I haven't watched a ton of Corey Linsley outside of the last 2 years, of course, when the Chargers signed him. But this was probably his worst game as a pro from what I've seen in a few years. So, Corey Linsley definitely will be better, and so will Matt Filer, and I expect the offensive line to continue to improve. So that being said, let's jump right into this film. Why did it do that? There we go. That was the look I wanted. So I did tweet this play. This was an outside zone run from Austin Eckler, a play in which he really kind of shows off everything that he has as a back. He does this really nifty jump cut, kind of a double crossover move, if you will, in the hole, which really helped out Steven Anderson make this play. But I did want to kind of show the kind of blocks that, were necessary in order to make this happen. And it all starts with Rashaan Slater on the edge against Chase Young, arguably one of the best defensive ends in the league. Certainly was crowned in that way by many, including myself. And he does a fantastic job, really just pushing him to the side, executing that reach block to perfection, which allowed Austin Eckler and Steven Anderson to create this hole. But let's go back a little bit here, if I can. I like this StreamYard, but it's a little annoying to rewind. But that's kind of everything, I guess. But let's watch Matt Filer and Corey Lindsay here at the point of attack. That is what has to happen in order for this hole to open. Matt Filer, Corey Lindsay, Ode Bushi, the interior trio has to really kind of execute their blocks. And this is a simple scoop block by Lindsay and Matt Filer. Filer really is only there to help Corey Lindsay if necessary. It's very simple man-on-man kind of concept. And then Matt Filer has to get to the next level. But you watch the way that Corey Linsley is able to turn his hips and get his back to the ball carrier. That is some really, really high level stuff. Like I was saying, both of these players really executed their responsibilities as run blockers at a very high level. I'm not going to show some of the plays that they got worked a little bit as pass protectors, but in the run game, both of them were very, very solid. And this was kind of evidence of that. And then Steven Anderson was somebody that we highlighted a few times as a run blocker. He did a lot of this in this particular matchup, worked as a fullback, worked as an H-back, and of course as an inline tight end. Again, Austin Eckler really makes this play happen because he's just so good and so underrated. But Steven Anderson still has to finish this block, and I like the way that he does that. And then Austin Eckler just, man, what a stud. Really bouncing off people, making people miss. Love the way he runs the football. Again, super underrated. Excuse me. All right, next play here. This is one of the things that, again, I tweeted this video, but I wanted to show it here. This is one thing that you can do to really kind of alleviate some pressure off of your offensive line, and that's max protect. And the Chargers are going to run this kind of like play action, similar to how you do in other max protect situations. And they're going to pull Matt Filer to one side. And then essentially you have tight ends on linebackers. You have a double team with Rashaan Slater and Corey Linsley. You have a double team with Ode Abuji and Brian Balaga. And then you get Matt Filer on the edge by himself in one-on-one situation. Again, this is a max protect look. I don't love the design because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams kind of run towards the same spot at the back of the end zone. I would have loved to see maybe Austin Eckler leak out, Jared Cook leak out, maybe a little bit more variety. But again, this is about the offensive line and making things easy for them, because I don't think people really understand how hard it is to line up every single play. And, you have to go attack Chase Young and go attack Jonathan Allen. So doing a max protect look like this every once in a while, really, it's essentially like giving your offensive line a rep off. Like you look at this, you have a double team across the board, essentially, except for Matt Filer. So really, it's kind of like saying, okay, guys, here's an easy repetition for you. Get your wind back underneath you and be able to kind of refocus in. So I'm not crazy about the overall play design or the decision by Justin Herbert to not really throw this ball away or run. Like right here, when you see Mike Williams and Keenan Allen down the field and they're clearly not open, I think you got to just chuck this ball away and reset. Or right here, you just got to take off and run. So don't love the decision making by Justin Herbert. Again, thought he played fantastic. This was really like one of the only two plays that I thought were kind of bad decisions, the other being the interception. But again, that is worth mentioning. And then I just wanted to rewind it really quickly here, because this is really a high level play by Matt Filer. Being able to trap somebody like this while you're pulling and on the edge, like he is on an island right here. And I believe this is, shoot, I looked up his name and now I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. But it's not Younger Sweat, but still, man, like that's a high level play by Matt Filer. And like these are the kind of flashes that we see from him. So there was a little bit of concern for me in terms of his pad level. He is 6'6", so he is a very tall guard. And so there were a couple times against Jonathan Allen in particular, like I mentioned, where his pad level was just too high. And then Jonathan Allen really kind of worked the leverage underneath him, bull rushed him, got past him, whatever, have you. But Matt Filer flashed some really good things to me, and this is one of them. All right, the next play here, I tweeted this out. The play overall as a whole is just art. Like this is perfection to somebody like me who is a nerd about passing concepts as well as offensive line play. So you're going to see it. Keenan Allen's going to motion it into the backfield. And then you have Jalen Guyton kind of running a post route, or not a post route, a corner route. And then Josh Palmer is running an over route. And then Keenan Allen is going to run an angle route right behind Palmer. So Palmer running the crosser frees up Keenan Allen, essentially being wide open to convert this play. Like, oh, it's just beautiful. Chef's kiss. Like, mwah, love it. As an offensive line, though, like we just didn't see this kind of play happen last year or the year before that, or really in forever. Like this play really has me fired up. Not as fired up as the play at the end, which we'll get to, of course, but this play by the offensive line is truly, truly fantastic. So the Washington defense, give them credit. They really did a ton of stuff to make things difficult for the offensive line. Lots of stunts, lots of twists, lots of blitzes. It was incredible the variety in which the Washington defense plays and blitzes. But the Chargers picked up everything. Like it was truly amazing to watch this. I hope you guys are as fired up about this play as I am. So, of course, like I mentioned, it starts with the interior right here. And again, this is something that we really just saw Dan Feeney, Forrest Lamp, and whoever was playing at right guard struggle with mightily last year. So essentially, you're going to have the nose tackle and the right defensive end, right of the offensive line. They're both going to wash across. And then the left defensive tackle is going to loop all the way around to try and mix them up. So you have a double slant and then a loop around. Again, that's something that last year's offensive line, the loop around guy would get a hit on Justin Herbert without a question in my mind. And so watching this interior group pass this off and handle it, again, Ode Abuji played really, really good on Sunday. Shout out to him. This is just like textbook offensive line, textbook communication. You see Corey Linsley when I play it back, you're going to see him kind of, doing the triple take of like he's crossing the street. That's what you want to see. You want to see that communication. You want to see that awareness happening from the interior, and they all pick it up beautifully. And then you look at Brian Bulaga and Rashaan Slater. They're both handling the length of this Washington defensive end group. Like that really is something that stood out to me, is that these guys had such a good day handling the length of Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And you just see that anchor down by both of these tackles. Just truly some fantastic play by the two of them, showing off their strength and their leverage, and really played very, very well. So I'm going to go full speed right here, just so you guys can really see what I'm looking at. Like, look at this anchor by Rashaan Slater right here. I think this is against Chase Young. Does that say 99? No, I think that's Montez Sweat. Anyways, so you see this anchor by Rashaan Slater right here. Like when you stonewall a defensive end who's trying to speed to power you like this, like that's some high level stuff right there. And same with Brian Bulag on the other side. So truly fantastic stuff there. Has me really fired up. So again, this is where Storm Norton comes in. This is now the second half, obviously. So I thought Storm Norton played really, 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 really well. And what I was very impressed with was the way that he set, the aggressive nature in which he set, because Brian Bulaga typically prefers to take a deep pass set and then kind of absorb you with his strong hands and with his striking ability. But Storm Norton really went after Chase Young and Montez Sweat, whoever he was playing against, with aggressive jump sets. And we'll see this from Rashaan Slater in a second. But I want you to focus in on Storm Norton right here, because I thought that this was really set the tone for the rest of his play this day. And I love the fact that after the initial punch, where again, he's showing off his aggressive play, he still went after Chase Young and he was still trying to make contact with him. To me, that shows a player who's really trying to prove that he needs to be on the field and prove that he is worth being on the field. So I really liked the way that Storm Norton played. Again, just you see this aggressive kind of jump set with him, and Rashaan Slater does it too. And he's able to really land a nice strike here on Chase Young, knock him off balance, and be able to handle his business. On the other side, you see this kind of stunt that's happening from the Washington defensive tackle, which I believe is Jonathan Allen. Yep, that is the case. And then Montez Sweat. So Jonathan Allen here is trying to get to Rashaan Slater's right shoulder and take Matt Filer with him, which would allow Montez Sweat to kind of loop over the top. Again, a play that we did not see last year's offensive line handle. Like if this was Sam Tevi and Forrest Lamp, Justin Herbert probably gets hit right in the face. So again, you see this kind of communication. You see them handle the pass off with ease. Matt Filer, Rashaan Slater do a fantastic job here. And then, like I said, Storm Norton on the other side did a great job as well. All right, so next one here, we're going to see Rashaan Slater do an aggressive jump set, and same with Storm Norton. So Rashaan has Montez Sweat clear on the wide 9, and it really the only way that you can effectively negate that kind of wide 9 technique is you have to go get that guy. If you take a deep pass set against the wide 9, you're done, because that gives the defensive end, in this case Montez Sweat, very elite athlete, great length. It's going to give him essentially a 3 or 4 step head start, and you're in no man's land as an offensive lineman. So this is really like a no-win situation for an offensive tackle, which is why you see teams like Philadelphia constantly do the wide 9 concepts, because it gives their defensive ends in passing down situations such an advantage. And Rashaan Slater is going to negate that like a seasoned vet. Like, this is some high level stuff from Rashaan, which is truly, truly fantastic. And boom, you see him get out of that concept. You see him get out there really, really quickly and really do a fantastic job running Montez Sweat by him, keeping that pocket clean. That was the other thing. Outside of the 2 sacks, Justin Herbert had a clean pocket on like every single play, you guys. Like, it was truly amazing to watch this offensive line play. And I know I'm really saying amazing and fantastic, awesome. I'm just really excited, man. Like, this really has me fired up. On the opposite side, you have Storm Norton again in isolation against Chase Young, and he's going to do the same aggressive kind of jump set. He wants to get his hands on Chase Young early. That's a bold decision. Not everybody is going to do that with effectiveness, and he's able to do that. You know, he's able to fight off Chase Young's hands did a great job here. The finish is a little unorthodox, and he ends up, getting knocked over by Ode-Abuji. But that was just some really fantastic stuff. The other thing here that I wanted to mention is Larry Roundtree. Roundtree is so good at picking up blitzes, and Austin Eckler is too. But I think that's a big reason why Joshua Kelly is not playing. Really, I think in terms of running the football, Kelly and Roundtree are very, very similar. But Roundtree gives them that flexibility to return kicks. And he's also very, very good at picking up blitzes. And we'll see that here on this play as well. You see him really kind of step in the hole, take on that linebacker. And it seems like a simple play, but it's really not. All right, next play here. One of the things that I loved that the Chargers did is they snapped the ball quick, like several times. You see right now, Corey Linsley is talking to Justin Herbert. He's talking to Justin Jackson. So many Justins on this team, man. Like, we got to change that. But Corey's going to go right up to the line, and they're going to snap the ball and go. And you see the offensive line, the defensive backfield, like they're still moving around trying to figure out what's going on. It just gives the Chargers a different kind of tempo. It gives them a winning edge to play with. And then you watch what happened. Like, this is insanely good from Corey Linsley and the interior, and as well Justin Jackson does a fantastic job here. But typically you come up to the line, right, and you want to see like what the defense is giving you. You want to see where the rushers are coming from. And he's going to run up and snap the ball really quick. And then Washington's going to blitz. They are doing a linebacker blitz off the left side. And they didn't have time to really kind of examine this and see where this is coming from. And they still pick it up at a really high level. Again, you have Rashaan Slater handling his business, Storm Norton doing well. And you see Ode-Abuji on the right side. Like, he first is like, okay, I'm going to help out Storm. Nothing's happening. Then I'm going to go to the left. So there were definitely ways in which these Chargers offensive line and coaching staff were trying to help out Storm Norton, but Storm really handled his business. He really did. So then you go back to the interior here, and you have a double blitz off of the left side from the linebackers, and that really is going to put your group in a tough spot. But Matt Filer does a good job. Corey Linsley does a good job. A little unorthodox by Justin Jackson there, but hey, it works. And then you have Ode-Abuji coming back and helping out. So this was really great stuff by the offensive line. Again, that you see the communication, you see the ability to be flexible, pass off blocks, handle blitz protections, as Corey Linsley put it, solve problems. That's what this play shows to me. So here you go, full speed one more time. And then just a freaking laser by Justin Herbert. All right, we're at 20 minutes and we still got 3 more plays. So let's freaking go. All right, this is another run play. I think it was Brian Baldinger posted this play, if I'm not mistaken. But this is going to be an outside zone run to Austin Eckler. He's going to break a tackle by Chase Young. But you see the movement from this Chargers offensive line. You see Rashaan Slater. We'll start with him really boxing out this defensive end. That is such a hard block. Like, I don't think people really understand how hard it is for offensive linemen to go from the left tackle to run to seal off a 4-eye technique, which is what Deron Payne is in right now, especially when the play is designed to run right, like wide zone right, to cut off this play is truly like elite stuff from Rashaan Slater. And then same thing with Corey Linsley, like to get to that front shoulder of this defensive tackle and be able to turn him around like this, like it's so good. Matt Filer cutting off the linebacker here. And then I want to give a big shout out again to Ode Ibushi because he really makes this play kind of happen. So you see him here from the right guard position. He's going to help out Corey Linsley, just do enough to make sure that Linsley has the time to turn his hips. And then he's going to knock over this linebacker, which I think is Jamin Davis, and just boom, knock him over. And then he's going to keep going. Like, this is a great play from Ode Ibushi, really showing off that physicality. And then Austin Eckler, man, so good on Sunday. So good on Sunday. I know that there were some of us, including myself, who were like, oh, the rushing attack, like, I want to see it more diverse. Like, that was my thing, and I still do want to see that. But if they run the ball like this, like, they're going to be fine. And it really was a fantastic job here. Shout out to Ode. Shout out to Hydro Flask. All right, so there was the full speed version. All right, we got 2 more plays here. We'll see. Steven Anderson is lined up here as the tight end, and he's going to help Storm Norton by chipping Chase Young. And then we're going to see an interior stunt and a blitz pickup as well. So we'll dive into this one right here. So we'll start with the Steven Anderson and Storm Norton off the left side of the screen. You see the little bit of a chip. Again, it's not much. It's not supposed to be like the huge push. If it works out like that, great. But he just needs to give Storm a little bit of a boost. And that's really what happens here. Then the other thing that I wanted to mention is the interior offensive line play. Of course, you guys will focus on Rashaan Slater doing his business over there. Really love watching him play. But the interior as well with Ode Ibushi, Corey Linsley, and Matt Filer, it's going to be a delayed blitz look. Initially, you know, you see number 52, like he's not blitzing. It's a delayed blitz. So you could definitely excuse Matt Filer and Corey Linsley from not picking up 52, but they do. They handle their business. And again, it's not a super aggressive blitz, but this is a look that the Chargers would have struggled with last year, really showing some improvement this season. And then again, Justin Herbert was so good on Sunday, you guys. Like, oh man, really played at a high level on Sunday. All right, last play here. This was not on the last drive. I was planning to show some plays on the last drive, but when I saw this play, I was like, that's it. The breakdown's over. Like, this play is so good on so many levels from the offensive line. First of all, I love the look with Neighbors and Roundtree in the backfield. I think that's Roundtree. Actually, it might be Eckler. Anyways, Neighbors is in the backfield, and he is going to kind of do a delayed route. His responsibility on this play essentially is make sure that Chase Young is not screaming off the edge for Storm Norton. Again, another way that the Chargers can help their offensive tackle. Don't really think it's going to be needed very much this week, but they have the plans to help out their tackles if need be. So again, we'll start with Storm Norton here, and then we'll kind of go from there. It's just a great play here. So Norton gets beat a little bit, but Neighbors does his job, just his presence alone forces Chase Young to get back inside, really helping Storm Norton out. So a little bit of a shaky start for Storm, but he bounces back fine enough. Then we have on the opposites, or the next group over, with Corey Linsley and Ode Ibushi right here. Another thing I really loved on Sunday was seeing Corey Linsley, O'Day, and Matt Filer really kind of communicate with each other, communicate with Justin Herbert, and really like the protection issues are non-existent if we're being honest with you. So O'Day is going to take on Matt Ioannidis here, and Corey Linsley is going to help him out and really just does a fantastic job. And then Chase Young's going to loop back around. Like he makes his way out. Corey Linsley is right there to make sure that he doesn't have a lane, make sure that he doesn't get his hands up and knock down a pass. Like that's just great offensive line play. That's great job helping out. And then Matt Filer here, like it's not a great rep. You know, he is one-on-one with Deron Payne right here, but it gets the job done. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. We see a stunt from Deron Payne and Montez Sweat off the edge. Now I remember why I was so fired up, man. Like this is really tough stuff to handle from an offensive line standpoint. We got an elite edge rusher, speed rusher on the one side. On the other side, you've got Montez. I keep on saying Montez because Montez Sweat. And then Deron Payne is going to try and do another stunt here. So this is great execution across the board between Rashaan Slater. You see Rashaan Slater prepping himself to take on Deron Payne. And then Matt Filer comes off just at the right time and handles Montez Sweat. Look at this pocket. Look at it. This is so beautiful. It's beautiful. Firing me up on a freaking Thursday. Hope you guys are going to have some fun tonight. Anyways, this is just great stuff across the board. And look how the pocket ends up. You've got three defensive players all clumped up. And then you've got Rashaan Slater, handling his business on the backside. Like when you get clumped up like that, this is what happens in like a max protect situation. When you're doing all these stunts and speed rushes on the outside, you're not supposed to get clumped up like that. Like this is such good play from the Chargers offensive line. And it really was just so much fun to watch on film, so much fun to watch in the game on Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I have, because this unit is just so much fun to watch. They are so much better than what we saw last season. And this was the first game that they played together. All right, I'm going to play this one full speed all the way through, and then I'll kind of get my final takes here. But, just a great job overall. Just fantastic stuff. And then this was the weird play that Keenan Allen fumbled off his knee. But anyway, so this was the last play that I had to share, because this unit is so much smarter, so much more talented, so much tougher than what we've seen. And, we've kind of said throughout the season or throughout the preseason and offseason, right, that if so-and-so happened, then this team will help out. The first thing that needed to happen for this Chargers offensive line to hit their ceiling was that Rashaan Slater needed to be as advertised or close to it. And he was awesome on Sunday. So check mark right there. The next thing that had to happen was that Corey Linsley and the veteran trio on the interior had to provide a boost in terms of the mental process and the mental operation of the offensive line play. They had to be able to handle all the blitz pickups, all the stunts, and that is a definite check. Matt Filer, Corey Linsley had a bit of a tough day in one-on-one situations with Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. I expect that to improve going forward. Corey Linsley's not going to have the kind of day like he had on Sunday as an individual pass blocker. It's going to get better. I have zero doubt in my mind about that. But even though the day was a little bit tough for him, the operation of the three was 100% smooth, 100% effective. Okay, then the right tackle situation needed to be clarified. Whether it was Brian Bulaga staying healthy, whether it was Storm Norton or Trey Pipkins being able to step up and play well, one of those things had to happen. Brian Bulaga is already injured, which really sucks. But when he was in, he was playing really, really well. And then Storm Norton comes in, and he played really, really well. That was the thing that Trey Pipkins really struggled with. If he wasn't getting reps throughout the week, he did not play well. That was really what it came down to, in my opinion, because if Brian Bulaga was out, Trey Pipkins was okay because he gets those reps in practice. So we have all these check marks that have happened, and I do not see a reason why the Chargers offensive line should not be a top 12 unit in the league. Yes, I said top 12. How insane is that, you guys? How insane. How sway. Oh my gosh. Fired me up. Right now, they're sitting, I think, at fifth, Tyler said, in pass blocking efficiency as a team. They're 16th in pass block win rate on ESPN. All the metrics are pointing towards a vast improvement for this group. And I cannot wait to see it play out because the Chargers needed it and we needed it. I needed to be able to watch good offensive line play for the Chargers, and it is happening, you guys. So I hope everybody was able to kind of learn. I hope everybody relished in the process of watching Sunday. I cannot wait to see this unfold. Mitchell Schwartz was talking about the Chiefs offensive line on the Athletic Football Show podcast. And the thing that he said, which I think applies to the Chargers, is that as an offensive line and a new offensive line unit, the worst you'll see is week one. Again, the worst you'll see from an offensive line is week one. How crazy is that? Oh my gosh. Cannot wait to see this unit keep progressing. Again, shout out to all of you guys for watching the pod, watching the videos. Smash that like button, comment, let me know what you guys think. I hope everyone gets as fired up about offensive line play as I do. But again, that's my thing. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.